guy like you play the game with speed.
Right.
So I put together a few clips that we're going to look at.
Okay.
And we're going to look at different ways that you use that speed. And so here in Toronto, very familiar place.
Right.
The defense here is playing a coverage that we call cover zero because there's nobody in the deep part of the field.
Right.
So we know that everybody's got a man on a man.
Right.
Talk to me about how you guys attack the defense on this play right here.
So you see we got Ackland coming across when we get to the line of scrimmage. We got Ackland, motioning across to come back across the defense and kind of give us that more clear picture to like make sure for sure that it's cover zero. Like you said, when we came out, there's nobody in the deep part of the field. And I think we're up pretty big right here. So like, we trying to kind of run the clock out at this point. And then we put the bubble on the back side of it just because like advantageous numbers, when you're trying to run the ball, you got all those guys in the box. So as Ackland kind of comes across, we see that guy track him. I think that's actually Darby, which is funny. Yeah, that's Darby. We see Darby track him. And, I knew right away once Darby tracked that Dane was going to kind of throw that out there because, we got numbers. We got 3-on-3. And the two guys at the bottom, they're going to take the two most dangerous guys, and you kind of see him shoot. Mike picks him up, Tuck gets out, and block number one. And then it's just pretty much me being my man, it's one-on-one matchups, getting guys in space. And I think that's kind of what our offense preference is just getting our athletes in space.
Getting space is right. I mean, to your point, cover zero is a pressure.
Right.
So if they were to run the ball from this other angle, you're going to see that there's really nowhere to go. Like
Exactly.
there's a lot of guys
right
around that box.
Exactly.
And so Dane literally just throws the ball sideways and is like, forget running it, you run it.
Right.
So
and that's kind of what it is. It's just another way of getting a run play. Of course we score on this play, but in our heads, like I said, we're thinking like, we're trying to run the clock out. Let's run the ball, and like you said, it's cover zero. So unless somebody misfits, that's bad numbers to run the ball. So we just throw the bubble out there. Hopefully we can get 5-6 yards, and that's just another run play. So
yeah, put athletes in space, make defenders tackle athletes in space.
Right. One
of the hardest things to do in football is actually a one-on-one tackle, especially in the CFL field, which is 65 yards wide. I mean, it's just like playing in the park sometimes. On this play here, we're using speed in a whole different way.
Mm-hmm.
Similar formation to the untrained eye. You got 4 receivers to the top of the field.
Right.
But this time, Edmonton, they got guys deep, right? They got guys in the back part of the field preventing that. Well, strategically, you put guys deep to prevent the receivers from getting deep.
Right.
So as y'all attack the line of scrimmage, it looks like, 2 seconds into this play, we know what's happening.
Right.
The quarterback's taking a deep drop. You and the other slot receiver are both putting pressure on those deep defenders. Talk to me about what you're doing here as that innermost receiver running down the field.
So game plan this week, I remember, we knew like any time that Edmonton like lined up to an unbalanced formation, which we got an unbalanced formation here, we knew that backside safety back there, 41, we knew that they would try to trace him to number 4. So going into the game plan, we thinking like, how can we put him in stress? So, we got a lot of plays in our playbook where, we got guys running diagonal across the field, we got guys running corner routes, and as you see, Speedy right there got the corner. And so going into the week, he's like, man, how can we put this guy in stress? So Tommy, the creative mind that he just drew up a play where he was like, okay, if I can sell it and get a diagonal to where I can keep my leverage, and this guy, he's tracing me backside, like, and you see, watch his hips open right here. It's like he's beat already. So Tommy was just kind of like, let's run a diagonal like we're running a diagonal, and then sell it back to the post, to the upright, going the other way. And kind of when I'm getting vertical right here, and I'm seeing 41 trace me, I'm like, if I go all the way to him, he win, So that's why I kind of cut it off early and just try to keep that angle. So we just trying to put him in stress, and that's that unbalanced formation, put that backside safety in stress.
It's almost like he expects you to come to him.
Right.
Because generally speaking, the routes, they gotta have certain spacing. Like It doesn't make sense for 2 receivers to be standing in the same spot. I guess that's Banks running down the middle of the field. So you don't want to be down the middle of the field. You're going to come to this weak side. But little did he know.
Going back to that same area, I'm just deeper.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the natural tendency of a DB when he's tracing is he sees Speedy on that corner route. Like, a natural defender is going to think, like, oh, he's coming to me. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what we knew. It's like watching him trace all week on film, we was like, let's just break back to the same area, just go deeper than Speedy.
So now we got this other 41 set here, 4 receivers on the bottom of the field this time, 1 at the top.
Right.
And this team is playing, it looks like from here, maybe they're playing man underneath and some zone behind it, just by the way that they're aligned.
Right.
But what I'm noticing right off the bat, and I think that you see the same thing, is that all the linebackers are walked up in the line of scrimmage.
Exactly.
And so if the offense is trying to run the ball, then okay, that defense might be set up to stop that very well. But there is a vulnerability for a quick pass
In the middle.
So walk me through this play right here.
So another thing, like I said, we game plan a lot. And one thing we knew about Toronto is, like, they're a big match team. And, they want to try to divvy up all their looks and make everything look so crazy and all this stuff. So, we had a lot of plays going into this week where, like, if they get in that kind of match look, but they got everybody walked up in the back, the box, the 2 backers are up on the line of scrimmage, basically. That's kind of why, like, a couple clips ago, you saw the bubble route against Toronto. But this time we put a little spin on it. We, like, number 3, which is, at the time, it's me. I'm number 3. Usually we run the bubble with number 3 and run number 4 tracks across.
Right, and so we count the receivers. 1 is the furthest outside.
2, second most.
Right.
3, the third most, and the 4 is the fourth most. And if you saw in the other clip, we had number 4 trace across the ball, and then I ran the bubble.
Right.
But in this clip, we knew that the Sam right here, which is number 6, I think Chris Edwards, he shoots to the bubble hard.
Right.
So we like, this week going into the game, we're gonna have number 4 run all the bubble routes, right? So we put all the bubble routes in, and then we also put in plays where when number 4 runs a bubble, number 3 is gonna kind of settle down like he gonna block him and then fill right in on that void. And it's kind of, we got the perfect look for it here. We called it, we got the perfect look. And just as we thought, Edwards was gonna blitz, well, not blitz, but he was gonna react to the bubble really hard. And, you kind of just see me settle right there in that window behind him.
Man, I don't know about you, but I can't see their numbers.
Right.
You obviously study film.
Yeah.
How important is it to know your personnel when you're playing against a team? Like, you're calling these guys by name. Some of these plays are from 2019.
Right.
Like, talk to me about studying players and your opponent.
I think it's huge because certain guys, like, every team has a coverage or they have a scheme, you know what I mean? But if you watch guys and you watch numbers, certain guys react certain ways into the scheme. So like I said, obviously with Toronto, their Sam's job is to shoot to the bubble, but the way Chris Edwards does it might be different from the way the backup does it. You know what I mean? So that's why a lot of times when I watch film, I'll get the whole scheme from what the defense is, going to do or what they predicated on. But at the same time, I want to know the guy and I want to know his tendencies. So
know your personnel.
Yep.
And right here, you guys are backed up, closer towards your own end zone. So getting this first down is huge because then even if you don't go down and score,
right,
when you punt the ball, the other team is going to be backed up, and it's not you kicking it to them where they're already in field goal range.
Yeah, for sure. Field position.
That's
huge. Coach O talks about it all the time. Like, every drive, every team want to get points. You want to score a touchdown or get a field goal, but it's a game within the game. Like you said, flipping the field and giving our defense the best chance because you play here. You know how the Hamilton Ticats defense get down. So
right,
if we can make the field as long as possible for the opposing offense to drive, it's advantageous for us.
Speaking of long fields, super backed up
right
on the 11-yard line. At this point, there's not really a lot of room for error. The defense here has really 2 options. They can apply pressure, try to force a mistake,
right,
or they can get into what some people would call a softer coverage,
right,
which would be more of like a zone. It might have some gaps in it,
yep,
but they're not trying to give up the big play because, if you go 2 and out, they're getting the ball already in field goal range.
Right.
So knowing that, right here, we got Ottawa. Every DB is 10 yards off the ball. So no press coverage, none of that stuff. It looks like they potentially could be getting into the zone coverage. As you guys waggle to the line, everybody's backing out. It's clearly a zone at this point.
Right.
Talk to me about being a speed guy, I don't know if you like that term or not.
Right.
You like that term?
I mean, it's cool. You know, I like to say swift because, you know, my game, I feel like I can turn the speed on sometimes, and then sometimes, like here, I'm cruising because I know, like I said, I'm watching film all the time. I know coming out, like, I'm going to have to slow down here and get in this zone.
Right, exactly. And so there's a time to be fast and there's a time to be on time.
Right.
This linebacker, he drops back to about where the first down yard marker is. You got, I believe that's Speedy B. He's in front of him. He's kind of like the bait. And the linebacker sees him banging across, and you just wrap right behind and sit down in this little pocket.
Yep.
Talk to me about, you know, reading defenses and knowing when it's time to just, you know, get to the spot instead of showing off your God-given speed.
Yeah, so like I said, watching film, man, like we got this play call right here, and you know, we got Tim putting stress on the backer, and it's a high-low on the backer, right? So coming to the line of scrimmage, once we start waggling, I'm seeing them get out of there already, so I know in my mind it's on. So when we come out here, I'm getting to my depth, 12 yards. I see Tim get down low, and the backer he trying to tween us, you know what I mean? So he trying to play in between both, and I see the backside, I see that wheel on the backside when I'm rapping. You see the wheel right there, 24, I think that is?
Yeah.
I'm rapping. It's kind of like when I come out of my break, I'm slowing down to get in that window so that if I keep running right here, we call it a headache. Like,
yeah.
Obviously, if he's deeper, like, he's low. But if he's deeper and I keep running, it's a headache for me. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get in that window and slow down right in between the mic and the wheel, and boom, slowly push it on me. And it's kind of just like, it's playing catch, really. Like, when you know what you're doing and you watching film all week and you know the zones they're going to come out in and you know the plays and how Tim, you know, he putting the stress on the backer on the low end and I'm on the high end.
Right.
It's playing catch, really.
Man, it's really, at first I was looking at it as if it was two receivers on one backer, but
Right.
really it's three receivers on two backers.
It's a triangle.
Because you're keeping both of the mic and the wheel spaced out right here so that you can get in between real quick
Right.
for that split second, catch that first down ball. Well, shoot, man, I appreciate you walking us through here. Tell me, what is one thing that you're looking forward to most about getting back on the field and playing 2022 at Tim Hortons Field, man?
Man, just compete, man. Like, you know, I'm a competitor. Last year, all year, you know, just being out with injuries and being on the sideline, like, I had a chance to watch the game from a different perspective. You know, just seeing the guys go out there every week and compete and just get better, you know, just put another fire in me, and being able to see, like, okay, I can see myself working in and working well with this guy, the way he does this and the way they do that. And then, you know, just being out there with my brothers again, being at Tim Hortons Field, you know, seeing the crowd, the atmosphere. I think this is one of the best places to play in the world, and, you know, I'm excited to be back.
I gotta ask you this. Does having that perspective from the outside where it's not a demand on you to actually play that week, does
Right.
that give you a chance to digest the game in a different way?
For sure. I used to play quarterback back in high school, and I think that helped me become a better receiver because, you know, like I said, I'm watching coverages all week. I know with the quarterback, in this case, I know what Soli is looking at right here. You know what I mean? But when, you know, you have an injury and you're basically, you know, you put on the back burner and you got to watch the game from a different perspective, now I'm seeing, like, everything. You know, I'm seeing more tendencies from more defensive players, more linebackers. I'm paying attention to D linemen. It's just everything, you know, just trying to learn the game as much as I can. And, you know, you never know, someday I might want to coach. So I think being out last year and, like, knowing everything I know about the game, it just helped me get my mental part of it stronger.
Man, can't wait to see you put it to use on the field. Appreciate you doing this.
Yes, sir.